Welcome to Silent and Taylees. I hope you enjoy this story. Now, let's begin.
I was an orphan. My master found me when I was little. He raised me and taught me how to be a Taoist priest. I make a living by reading fortunes. Every day, I sit at the same street corner, waiting for people to come and ask for a reading. Today was no different. But then, a rich-looking family walked up to me. There was a middle-aged couple and their two daughters. They said they were from the Yang family, one of the most powerful families in the city. The parents were the head of the Yang family. The older daughter was Lena Yang. She looked cold and kept her distance. The younger one, Mia Yang, seemed more cheerful, but also acted proud and a little mean. When they saw me, they stopped and looked confused. They probably thought I was just some scammer on the street. Mia Yang gave me a mocking smile. I smiled at her and said, "Want a fortune reading? If it's not true, you don't have to pay." Just then, Mrs. Yang suddenly burst into tears. "My child. I'm your real mother. Please come home with me." I looked at them. Dark smoke seemed to float around their bodies. In my mind, a warning appeared. Dark clouds above the head. Not much time left. I sighed and nodded. Then, I slowly packed up my compass and the yellow papers I use for fortune telling. I said softly, "I need to go home and pack my things first. It's a bit messy inside. You can wait for me outside." Mrs. Yang really wanted to follow me, so the others had no choice but to come too. All four of them walked with me into a small, dirty alley. Now and then, a rat ran across the ground. I heard someone gag behind me. Mia frowned and said, "Can people really live in a place like this?" I stopped, turned around, and said, "Why not? I've lived here for over 10 years." Mia's face kept changing, but I ignored her and kept walking. We came to a small house in the corner of the street. I gently pushed the door open. Inside, it was simple, just a small bed, an old fan, and a worn-out wardrobe. As I pulled out some clothes from the wardrobe, Mia covered her nose and said, "Why are you bringing those torn clothes? I'll buy you new ones when we get home." I didn't even get to speak when a group of people rushed into the house and stood around us. "You're Ethan's family, right? This kid had a hard life. You should treat him well. You look rich. Why did it take you so long to find him?" I didn't have parents. Since I was little, my master and the kind neighbors here raised me. When they saw me leaving, they were happy for me, but also a little sad. Aunt Xia stuffed some things into my arms. "These are things we bought for you. Don't wear those old clothes anymore. You're going to a new home, so wear something new." Soon, I was carrying bags of all sizes. The neighbors quickly helped me load everything into the car. I held my small yellow bag and sat in the back seat. Mia Yang frowned. "You don't need to bring that bad luck stuff. There's no room for it at home." Mrs. Yang snapped, "Don't talk to your brother like that." I looked up and said quietly, "Then I won't go. Let me out." Mia was shocked. She didn't expect me to say that. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Then her older sister, Lena Yang, spoke up. "Mia, say sorry to your brother." Mia finally said, quietly and unwillingly, "Sorry." Mrs. Yang turned to me and started asking about my life. She said I had suffered for years out there, and now that I was home, they would take good care of me. Real parents? That word felt strange to me. I didn't even have adoptive parents. When traffickers tried to take me, it was my master who rushed in, pushed them away, and brought me home. I looked at the crying boy next to me and asked, "Is he also part of the Yang family?" Mia Yang looked at me and said angrily, "You just came home, and now you want to kick out my brother Victor? Even if you're back, we're not sending him away." Lena Yang added, "Victor has lived with us for years. We care about him. Please don't make things hard for him." Victor Yang's eyes turned red as he said, "I'm sorry. I don't really understand what's going on. If you don't want to see me, I'll leave. I looked at them and said, I didn't do anything. I just asked if he was part of the Young family. Only then did they realize they had overreacted. Mrs. Young quickly said, Victor is the baby who was switched with you years ago. Ethan, you're the big brother now. Victor is your little brother. I nodded and said nothing. Victor's crying was starting to annoy me, so I closed my eyes and rested. We arrived at the Young house. When I got out of the car, no one helped me with my bag. All 5 of them went inside without looking back. Then Mrs. Young suddenly ran outside, like she just remembered I was still there. I glanced at her, then walked in by myself. When they saw me carrying my own bag, they didn't look too happy. Lena Young shouted at the maid. The young master just got home. Why didn't anyone help him with his bags? I looked at them and said calmly, no need. I can carry them myself. Mrs. Young looked a bit embarrassed and said, Ethan, your room isn't ready yet. For now, you'll have to stay on the first floor. I nodded and asked, are the others on the second floor? Mia yelled, you just got home and already want a room on the second floor? Victor quickly pulled her back and said, pretending to be upset, brother, Mia didn't mean it. We grew up together, so we're really close. If you want, I can give you my room on the second floor. I replied, no need. I don't want to stay in a room you've already used. It might mess with my fortune. Then I turned away and walked to my room, ignoring their reactions. That evening, when the maid called me to dinner, they were already sitting at the table. They had even saved me a special seat, right next to Victor. Victor Young greeted me politely, big brother. I looked at him but didn't respond. His mother was the one who switched me and him. If my master hadn't saved me, I would have been dead a long time ago. With all those feelings buried inside me, I just couldn't bring myself to smile at him. Victor looked a little embarrassed. He stared down at his bowl of rice. Lena Young looked at me, clearly annoyed. Ethan, Victor just greeted you. Why didn't you answer? I paused for a moment. The spoon in my left hand suddenly dropped into the bowl. I heard him, I said. I just didn't feel like responding. Lena frowned when she saw the spoon drop. Is this how you were raised? Is that the kind of manners your master and those people taught you all these years? I stopped her before she could say more. She can talk about me, but I won't let anyone speak badly about Aunt Xia and the others who took care of me. You let me sit at the table with a thief, and now you're asking about my manners? Victor heard what I said, and tears started falling from his eyes. Mia saw her brother cry and couldn't stay quiet. What's with your attitude? Victor bought you so many gifts when he heard you were coming home. I said coldly, a gift from the one who took my place. You weren't the one who got switched. You weren't the one thrown into the trash. You don't know how it feels to freeze in winter with only a thin shirt. You don't know what it's like when someone tried to break my arm, just to turn me into a cripple who has to beg to survive. I rolled up my sleeve. My arm was covered in scars, some of them deep. The spoon dropped earlier. It was because of the injury in this arm. Lena and Mia looked shocked. They didn't say a word. Mrs. Young covered her mouth in surprise. She never expected that I had lived such a hard life. Mr. Young couldn't hide his sadness. He said, Ethan, let Lena take you to the hospital tomorrow. I shook my head. No need. My master already took me. This arm. I can move it, but that's all it can do now. I turned to Lena and said, so, I'm sorry. When I was a kid, I only cared about having food and staying alive. No one was there to teach me manners. I'm the one who doesn't deserve to sit at the same table as you. I'm full now. You all go ahead and eat. Lena stood up. I was wrong. It was all my fault. I'm sorry. I gave a cold smile and pointed at Victor. What if I said, if I'm staying in this house, he's not? If he stays, then I'm gone? Mia clearly wanted to speak up, but when she thought of the scars on my arm, she stayed quiet. Mrs. Yang didn't know what to say. Mr. Yang looked serious and said, Victor has been with us for so many years. Now that we've just found our real son, if we turn our back on Victor, what will people think of the Yang family? Ethan, I've always hoped you and Victor could get along. I looked at this family one more time and said, what if you had to choose just one of us? The whole room went silent. I felt embarrassed. I gave a bitter smile, and quietly walked back to my room. The next morning, I woke up from hunger. I couldn't believe it, my first day here, and I didn't even get to eat properly. I put on the new clothes Aunt Xia bought for me. There was a small cat printed on the front. When I walked out of my room, everyone was already sitting in the living room. Mia stared at me in surprise. She tried not to laugh and said, what are you wearing? I looked down. The clothes were clean, had no patches, and were brand new. So? What's wrong with it? I asked. Mia paused. Thinking about what I'd been through, she stopped laughing. She looked a bit awkward, and quietly picked up her phone. After the meal, Mrs. Yang gave me 100,000 yuan and told me to buy some new clothes. Maybe because of what happened earlier, Mia offered to go shopping with me. Victor Yang looked surprised. Mia, weren't you coming with me today to pick up the jewelry? Mia hesitated, glancing between us, then walked over to me. Sorry, Victor. Ethan just got here and doesn't know anyone yet. You can ask one of your friends to go with you. Mia went to the garage to get the car, leaving Victor and me standing by the door. He was wearing a shiny watch that sparkled under the sunlight. Hey, big brother, want a watch like this? He asked, glancing at my wrist with a mocking smile. Some people just aren't made for fancy things. Right, big brother? I didn't say a word. I just stared at him. He got uncomfortable under my stare, muttered something under his breath, and quickly walked away. Mia Yang drove over and saw me still standing there. She seemed to remember something. She got out of the car and opened the door for me. I got in and raised my right hand. I still have one hand that works, I said. She smiled playfully. Who cares? I just didn't want you to get my car dirty. The mall was really big. I hadn't seen a place like that in years. I stood at the entrance, staring for a while. Mia Yang gave me a little push and said, stop staring. Let's go. After a while, she left me alone in one of the stores. I picked out a few cheap outfits, and changed into them after paying. Then I went to the store next door, and bought some clothes for both men and women. I wanted to give them to Aunt Xia and the others. After thinking for a moment, I used the rest of the money to buy a small gift for each member of the Yang family. I waited at the mall entrance for a long time, but Mia Yang still didn't come back. So I went to a nearby convenience store to buy some bread. Around 6 p.m., I got a call from Mrs. Yang. Ethan, Victor is hurt and at the hospital. Just take a taxi home, okay? I hung up. But I didn't have enough money left for a taxi back to the Yang house. So I had to walk back. When I got home, everyone was there. Even Mr. Yang, who was usually busy with work, was home. Victor gave me an awkward smile. Sorry, big brother. Mia couldn't come get you because of me. I told Mom and Dad not to come, but they wouldn't listen. It's just a sprain, nothing serious. I looked at his foot. It only had a thin bandage on it. Victor ate a grape and said, you must be tired. Sit down and have some grapes, bro. The maid took the bags from me, and let out a surprised sound. Are these for Mr. and Mrs. Yang? Oh, and for the young master and miss too? Everyone looked surprised. Mrs. Yang walked over and took the bags. Victor Yang frowned but tried to smile. Nothing for me, huh? That's okay. I know you don't really like me. Mrs. Yang took out all the items, 5 gifts in total. Not more, not less. Victor's smile froze on his face. Then Mrs. Young seemed to remember something. She turned to me and asked, "Ethan, how did you get home?" As if to confirm Mrs. Yang's guess, the maid pointed at my foot. His foot. I looked down. My shoe was soaked with blood. Mia quickly ran to get the first aid kit. Lena helped me sit on the sofa and carefully tried to take off my shoe. But the dried blood made the sock stick to my skin. She didn't know what to do. I didn't look at her. I pulled the sock off myself. Lena frowned slightly. Mrs. Young covered her mouth in shock. Blood was dripping onto the floor. I didn't care. I poured alcohol straight on the wound. Then I grabbed some gauze and wrapped it a few times. Because I only had one hand, it looked messy. Mrs. Young couldn't take it anymore. She shouted, "Call a doctor to take care of Ethan, now." Lena held my hand. "Stop. Wait for the doctor." But I kept going and finished it myself. I didn't look at any of them and said, "No need. I'm tired. I'm going to rest." After a while, I was woken up by knocking on the door. I could faintly hear Mrs. Yang's voice from outside. "Did he pass out? Break the door down." I slowly got up and limped to open it. Mrs. Yang was there with a doctor. The air in the living room felt a bit tense. When I came in, the argument was still going. Mr. Yang was scolding Victor. Mia didn't say a word to defend her brother this time. When she saw me, she quickly stood up and asked, "Are you okay?" I didn't respond. I just sat down quietly and let the doctor check my foot again. After dinner, Mia stayed next to me. Every time I moved a little, she placed fruit in my hand. I had just finished my fourth orange when she gave me another one, already peeled. I looked at her and said, "You eat it." But Mia still pushed the orange into my hand and said, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave you at the mall today. At first, I just went to the hospital to buy some medicine. Then Victor called and said he was hurt. When I got there, it was just a sprain. He insisted I stay and take care of him. I couldn't leave him alone." She lowered her head and stayed quiet, waiting for my response. I said, "I won't forgive you, but I don't blame you either. You were the one who called Mrs. Yang, right?" She nodded softly. She was the only one in this house who had my phone number. A few days later, my foot got better. Mrs. Yang sent me money again and said she wanted to go shopping with me. I shook my head. "Just let Mia go with me." Mia jumped up from the sofa. "I'll go with my brother." Then she ran off to get the car, ignoring the unhappy look on Victor's face. Lena Yang added, "I'll come too. Mia is still young, she can't be trusted." Victor's voice was shaky, almost crying. "Then who's going with me to the doctor today? My foot still hurts." Mrs. Yang finally looked at her son. "Victor, I'll go with you," she said. But to her surprise, Victor stomped his foot in anger. "I don't want you. I want my two sisters to go with me." As soon as he said that, he noticed his mother's face turn cold and dark. Lena didn't look happy either. She said, "Come on, your foot looks fine now. You don't need a doctor. If you really want to go, just take the driver." Victor got so angry that he started crying. But this time, no one tried to comfort him. As for me, I had already said no to Mrs. Yang and Lena. I only wanted Mia to go with me. Mia was singing happily in the car. Then she took something out of her bag and handed it to me. "Brother, this is scar cream. I went to the hospital that day just to get it. It's a special formula from a doctor. Very rare." I didn't expect her to give me something like this. After thinking for a moment, I asked, "Do you have money?" Mia nodded. "Yes. If you need money, just ask the family. Did something happen?" I shook my head. "It's nothing. But, how much money do you have? Can you lend me 200,000 yuan? Mia paused, then took out her phone to transfer the money. I raised my hand to stop her, my eyes still on the scar cream. Mia, when did you get your driver's license? She didn't expect me to change the topic so fast, but she still answered quietly. April this year. I nodded. Are you going hiking with your friends this Saturday? Mia froze. How do you know? I haven't told family yet. Don't go. Why not? I already made plans. I went on. I also know 4 friends are going with you. But you really can't go. Mia looked even more surprised. But when she saw I was serious, she finally nodded. All right. I smiled. Now you can send me the money. This time, she didn't look happy when sending it. But after I bought her a bracelet, she smiled again. When we got home, Mia happily helped me put away the things we bought. Victor Young walked in with a plate of fruit and smiled. Mia, you must be tired. Have some fruit. Then he noticed the bracelet on her wrist. He asked, pretending to care, where did you get that bracelet? It looks cheap. Aren't you afraid it'll make your wrist dirty? Be careful. It might scratch the watch I gave you. After saying that, Victor walked over and tried to take the bracelet off. Mia quickly pulled her hand back and said, This bracelet is from Ethan. He bought it for me. It's probably not cheap, right? Victor gave me a mocking look. Oh, really? I laughed casually. Yeah, it's not expensive. Just a few $100. Victor looked at the bracelet with a sneer, and reached out to take it off again. Mia quickly stopped him. It's okay. I don't mind wearing something that costs a few hundred. Don't worry. Ethan would never hurt me. Victor stared at me, angry, like I stole his little sister. But it was funny, because she was my sister in the first place. While we were eating, Victor suddenly said, Mia, can I join your hiking trip? There are 5 of you. If I come, that's 6. Should be fine, right? I knew exactly what he was thinking. He saw that Mia and I were getting close, so he wanted to squeeze himself in. Mrs. Young also spoke up, then let Ethan come too. Victor frowned. But the car only fits 6 people. If he comes, there won't be enough seats. I shook my head. No. I'm not going. Mia's not going either. Mia quickly nodded in agreement. I have other plans on Saturday, so I'm not going hiking. Victor, if you still want to go, I can tell the others. Victor said, Oh, and smiled. Why not? Didn't you already decide? Mia replied calmly, I just don't feel like going anymore. Victor thought it was because of me. He said with a mocking tone. Let me guess. Ethan used his tools to do a reading and said something bad would happen? Mr. Young frowned and spoke for the first time during dinner. Is that true, Ethan? I nodded. Everyone's faces started to turn serious. For the first time, Mrs. Young spoke to me in a strict voice. Ethan, don't talk about these things at home anymore. We don't believe in that stuff. Mia, just go hiking on Saturday. Don't believe in those bad luck readings or signs. Mia glanced at me, looking worried. You're all blaming Ethan for nothing. He didn't do any fortune-telling for me. I raised my hand and cut Mia off. I really did a fortune-telling. If Mia goes out this Saturday, something bad will happen. There might be blood. Mr. Young slammed the table and shouted. If you say that again, get out of this house. He was so angry, his chest was shaking. Mrs. Young suddenly started crying. Lena walked over to comfort her. Victor looked at me with a smug face. The whole room was filled with tension. I said calmly, It's all because of the little sister, who passed away when she was 4, isn't it? Everything went quiet. Mr. Yang's face turned red. He threw a plate straight at me. You already knew. Then why did you still do fortune-telling for Mia? People like you caused Lily's death. Mrs. Young crying hard. Ethan, can't you just throw those things away? Lena gave me a look, signaling me to go to my room and get rid of them. I didn't even bother to look at her. Victor got even angrier when I didn't move. You know this stuff already messed up our family. And now you're acting mysterious. Trying to fool Mia? Mia slowly raised her hand. No. I didn't tell Ethan anything about it. Everyone froze. They had all assumed Mia was the one who told me everything. I kept talking. About a month before the little sister passed away, Victor had a high fever, right? Even the hospital couldn't help. So the family brought in a fortune teller. But not long after that, the little sister also got a high fever. And she died. Victor's face went pale. Mrs. Yang's eyes widened in shock. What I just said, no one outside the family could have known. Mrs. Yang's voice trembled. Ethan, how do you know that? I shook my head. That's all I can say. And Mia, if you still want to go hiking, go ahead. I won't stop you anymore. The dinner ended badly. After that, my words left everyone in the family feeling anxious and uneasy. If I was just guessing, how could I know even the small details? Mia Young wanted to talk to me, but Victor stopped her. He's always saying unlucky things, he said. You should stay away from him. Even Mrs. Young acted like I wasn't there. I knew I said something the Young family didn't want to hear, so I offered to stay somewhere else, for a few days. Mrs. Young wanted to say something but stayed quiet. Lena said, Ethan, we didn't mean it like that. I nodded and replied, it's okay. A client recently asked me to help remove some bad luck. It's better if I don't stay here right now. Mr. Young got angry again when he heard me talk about spiritual things. He shouted, leave this house tomorrow. Don't come back until you throw all that stuff away. I only took a few clothes, because I knew it wouldn't be long before they asked me to come back. Before I left, Mia gave me a card and said, Ethan, please talk to Mom and Dad. If they forgive you, you can stay. I smiled and said, no need. And besides, I've never called them Mom or Dad anyway. Mia stopped. She just realized that I had been here for days but never called them Mom or Dad. She tried to stop me, but Mr. Young shouted from upstairs. Let him go. Let's see how he's better than Victor. I looked up at him and said, the first day I came here, I asked, if you had to choose one person, who would stay? So this is your answer, right? Mr. Young didn't say anything. He just gave a cold snort and went back to his room. Victor looked at me with a mocking smile and said, Big brother, I hope you throw away those things and come back soon. I heard you never went to school. If you agree to return, I'll ask Dad to let you study. Your little brother will be here waiting for you. I didn't say anything. I just turned and walked away. Victor Yang's words went in one ear and out the other. I only hoped Mia would listen to me and not go hiking. Lena took me to a hotel. She also handed me a card. I pushed it back and said, it's okay. You can pay for it later. Lena didn't understand me. She still tried to give me the card. I watched her walk away and said, you got hurt when you were 18, didn't you? She quickly turned around, as if she wanted to ask how I knew. But the elevator doors closed before she could speak. The bell on me suddenly jingled. I held it and whispered, don't make noise. Big brother knows. I didn't get much rest in the next few days. Every night, someone knocked on my door to mess with me. I knew Victor Young sent them. Now that we were both sons of the Young family, so the hotel staff wouldn't dare step in. Mia kept texting me, but I didn't reply. But this morning, I sent her a message. Don't go hiking. When I turned on the TV, I realized it was too late. The news anchor was saying, today, a serious traffic accident happened in Silent City. A truck lost control and crashed straight into an SUV. 2 people died, and 4 were injured. I counted the people and knew Mia was still on the trip. 1 truck driver. 5 victims. Then Mrs. Young called me. Ethan, come to the hospital now. Mia is hurt. When I got there, Victor pointed at me and yelled, "This is all your fault. You said unlucky, weird things. That's why she got hurt. How can you even come here?" I didn't say a word. I just looked at the hospital room door. Mrs. Young walked out of the hospital room. Victor quickly grabbed her hand and asked, "Mom, is Mia okay?" She shook her head, then gave me a strange look. Without saying anything, she stepped aside to let us in. Inside, Mia was lying on the bed, smiling like nothing happened. Her injury wasn't serious, just a sprained ankle. Victor suddenly blurted out, "I thought you were dead. Why is it just your leg?" Mia's smile disappeared. Everyone turned and stared at him. Victor realized what he said sounded wrong, and quickly stammered, I didn't mean it like that." Mr. Young was furious. He rushed over and slapped Victor hard. "Get out of here." Victor staggered back, holding his face, speechless. Mr. Young shouted again, "Mia told me everything. This morning, you woke her up and told her to go up the mountain to find something. If it weren't for you, she wouldn't be hurt." Victor pretended to cry and said, "How could I know there would be an accident? I just heard there's a famous monk on that mountain. I just wanted Mia to get you a prayer bead for your birthday." Mr. Young looked surprised. Lena gently added, "Dad, Mia's okay now. Victor just wanted to do something nice for you." Mr. Yang's face finally softened a little. "But I didn't want to let Victor off so easily," I said coldly. "Victor, that monk left a long time ago. Didn't you know?" Victor's face changed. That's not true." I kept going. "That monk announced he was leaving a week ago. It was even on the hot search. You care so much about Dad, but somehow you didn't know that?" Victor stood there, speechless. After a moment, even though she wasn't very happy, Lena spoke up to ease the tension. "Maybe Victor just didn't see the news. Either way, he meant well for Dad." Victor quickly nodded and said, "I thought the monk was still there. If I had known, I wouldn't have asked Mia to go. Then none of this bleeding would have happened." When Mr. Young heard the word bleeding, it reminded him of what happened with me a few days ago. The anger that had just calmed down flared up again. Who told him to come here?" he shouted. Mia, lying on the bed, said loudly, "It was me. I asked him to come." Mr. Young saw that, and didn't want to get angry anymore. He asked gently, "Mia, why did you ask Ethan to come?" Mia took out a broken prayer bead and said, "This is the peace prayer bead Ethan gave me. Halfway up the mountain, I remembered I forgot it. No one wanted to go back, so I got out of the car to get it. I hadn't gone far when I heard the explosion behind me. It scared me. I tripped on the steps and sprained my ankle." Mia paused, her body trembling with fear. "I just saw the news. The person who died was sitting in the front seat, the same seat I was in before I got out." The room went silent. Everyone turned to look at me. I said slowly, "The prayer beads broke to stop the bad luck. But I sent you a message this morning, telling you not to go hiking. If you hadn't gone, your leg wouldn't be hurt now." Mia froze and said, "A message? What message? I didn't get anything." Victor Yang's face changed. He quickly said, "Mia is okay now. We should leave so she can get some rest." But his strange reaction made everyone suspicious. Lena asked, "Victor, don't you usually care about Mia the most?" Mia quickly opened her phone, and I stepped forward to compare our chat messages. The message telling Mia not to go hiking was still on my phone, but on Mia's phone, it was gone. Mia gasped in shock. How could this happen? Was it the signal? No. This morning, my phone did show a message, and I even asked Victor to check it for me. Everyone suddenly understood. They all turned to Victor. His face went pale. He stammered, "No. I didn't delete it. I didn't see any message. It wasn't me. Seeing his reaction, one sentence popped into my head. A guilty conscience needs no accuser. At this point, even the most clueless person could tell. Victor was behind it all. Mrs. Young couldn't stay quiet and shouted, "Victor, how could you do this? Mia is your sister." Victor grabbed his head, then suddenly pointed at me and yelled, "It wasn't me. It was him. He used weird, evil things to hurt Mia." In the past, people might have believed Victor. But this time, I was the one who saved Mia. Everyone looked at Victor with disappointment. He used to be the young master everyone loved and respected. A few days later, Mia Young left the hospital. During this time, Victor tried hard to please Mr. and Mrs. Young. Clearly, just Mia's leg injury wasn't enough to make them kick him out. I whispered to myself, "If you don't want to leave the Young family, then stay. And pay for everything you've done." In the past, if I had tried to expose his true face, no one in this family would have believed me, just a long-lost son, who reads fortunes for a living. But after everything that's happened, maybe now is the right time. Mia limped into the living room. Victor quickly walked over to help her, but Mia gently pulled her hand away. Then she sat down beside me. Victor looked heartbroken and begged, "Mia, I'm sorry. Please, forgive me." Lately, Mrs. Young had been feeling very torn. After all, she still cared about both of them. She didn't want to see her children grow apart. She let out a sigh and said, "Mia, your brother Victor is talking to you." Mia let out a soft sigh, and raised the prayer bead in front of her. Some of the beads were missing, and it no longer fit her wrist. Victor thought she still liked it, so he quickly said, "You like this? I can buy you a better one." Mia looked down and said quietly, "No need." I took out a new prayer bead and said, "This one costs 100,000. Do you want it?" Mia smiled happily, put it on right away, then pulled out her phone and sent me the money. Seeing how quickly Mia's attitude changed, Victor frowned. He clenched his fists and shouted, "Ethan, we're family. How can you take money from your sister?" I looked at him and said, "It's for peace and luck. Do you want one too?" Victor's face darkened. He didn't say yes or no. Mr. Young still didn't like it, but this time he just coughed. He wasn't angry like before. Lena suddenly stood up, came over to me, and said, "I want one too." I nodded, took out a new one, and said, 200,000. Lena was shocked. "Why is it 100,000 more?" I looked her in the eyes and said slowly, "Did you forget? I saved you once when you were 18. Lena was surprised. Mr. and Mrs. Young were stunned too. Suddenly, memories from years ago rushed back to Lena. Back then, she had just turned 18. She was proud and never listened to anyone. She planned a trip overseas, but everything went wrong. She forgot her passport, her car broke down. And most strangely, when she got home, she found a jade pendant in her bag. She had never seen it before. The next day, she saw the news. The plane she was supposed to take had crashed. That jade pendant had saved her life. Lena covered her mouth and gasped. "That jade pendant. How do you know about it? What did you do?" I didn't answer her. I walked over and picked up the newspaper Mr. Young had dropped. "Dad, did they find the person who stole the company's money? If the money isn't returned soon, the workers might riot." Mr. Yang's eyes went wide. It was the first time I'd seen that expression on his face. He had just heard about it from the manager today. He hadn't told anyone yet. "Call the police," I said. "Tell them to check the inns, near the city's west border gate." After saying that, I didn't wait for his reaction. I turned to Mrs. Young and said, "Mom." She froze. It was the first time I ever called her that since I came to this house. It took her a while to react. Then she softly replied. I smiled. Don't think too much. Lily told me to say that. When I said that name again, Victor got angry and tried to hit me. But this time, Lena stopped him. He shouted, "He's talking about my little sister again. He's upsetting everyone. Mom, Dad, he's pretending to be a fortune teller again." But no one paid him any attention. Everyone just looked at me in silence. Mrs. Young held her chest and asked with difficulty, "What do you mean? Why would you say Lily told you to say that?" Except for Victor, who always pretended, everyone in the family truly loved their little princess. Her death was a deep pain for all of them. That's why they all agreed not to talk about it again. "Since everyone's here now, I guess it's a good time to begin," I said. I went back to my room and took out the bag I brought with me on the first day. I opened the yellow cloth bag, spread it on the table, and placed the things inside on top, along with a small bell. Mrs. Young looked at the bell in shock and said, "That's the bell from Lily's longevity lock. Where did you get it?" It wasn't just a regular bell. It had delicate patterns carved into it, showing how much they had loved her. I didn't say a word. I bit my fingertip and let a drop of blood fall onto the items. Suddenly, without any wind, everything on the table shifted toward the northwest corner of the villa. Lena screamed, "That's Victor's room." I nodded slowly. "There's a tree outside Victor's window, right? Dig it up. The truth will come out soon." Victor's face turned pale. His voice trembled as he said, "Don't believe this creepy stuff. Last time, it caused our little sister's death. Who knows what it'll do this time?" Mia Yang spoke up for me. "I trust him. If he meant harm, something would have happened to me days ago." Mrs. Yang stayed silent, clearly unsure. Mr. Zhang stood still, frowning, not daring to move. I calmly said, "I won't hurt anyone. Just do what I say." They finally dug up the tree. Victor stood nearby, crying, "Stop. Don't dig anymore." Seeing that no one listened, he suddenly went crazy. He grabbed my collar and yelled, "Years ago, it was fortune tellers like you who caused my sister's death. Who are you trying to hurt this time? My mom? My dad? My sister? Or is it me? You just want to kick me out of the Yang family, don't you?" Just then, the maid shouted, "We found something." The maid carefully took out a piece of red cloth and slowly unwrapped it. Inside was a longevity lock, but the bell was missing. Mrs. Zhang dropped to the floor, crying hard. "How could it be here? I put it on Lily with my own hands. I just wanted her to be safe, even in the next world." Mr. Yang quickly helped her up. He looked at me, shaking. "Ethan, what is going on?" Lena and Mia rushed over to check. They recognized it immediately. This bell couldn't be faked. Victor was shaking, standing in place, mumbling, This can't be true." I looked around at everyone and said, "What I'm about to say might change everything you believe. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Victor and I weren't switched by mistake. Someone did it on purpose. That person was your former maid." Mrs. Zhang froze. Then suddenly, she remembered, years ago, there really was a maid like that. But she had sticky fingers. She used to steal little things, and once even took a necklace worth over $1 million. After that, the Yang family fired her. I went on. A few years later, right after I was born, that maid came back to the hospital and secretly switched the Yang family's baby with her own. The baby she brought that day is the Victor Yang standing here now. When she threw me into the trash, she even laughed coldly and said, "You're gone. No one will ever know what happened." I looked up, my eyes cold. But Victor's fate was never to live a long life. To live longer, he had to take someone else's life. When the little sister was 4, if you hadn't kicked out that priest, maybe she would have survived. Maybe Victor wouldn't have died either. He just would have lived a shorter life. But what's done is done. Lily told me. That day, she was in pain. She didn't understand why her brother wanted to hurt her. She tried to call for Mom and Dad, but no sound came out. Mrs. Young broke down in tears. It was me. I was the one who hurt her. I didn't respond. I just went on. Did none of you notice? Ever since Victor showed up, the Young family's business has been getting worse and worse. And when Lena and Mia were little, they often got hurt, right? I paused, then added slowly. This year, someone else in the Young family was supposed to die. Mia Young looked confused and pointed at herself. Was it me? I nodded and sighed. That's right. It's ironic, isn't it? The son you raised all these years was the one who caused all of this. Victor shouted, You're lying. That's not true. He rushed at me, trying to hit me. But Mr. Young knocked him to the ground and yelled, Get him out of here. Send him to a mental hospital. That's when Victor panicked. To him, a mental hospital was worse than prison. He dropped to his knees, slamming his head to the floor. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please, don't send me away. I'm your son. I'm really your son. Mrs. Young wiped her tears and snapped. You still dare to talk? If it weren't for you, she would be 9 years old this year. In the end, Victor was sent to a mental hospital. From the messages and money he sent each month, the Young family found his real mother. They had a tearful reunion, right there in the mental hospital. People said Victor tried to end his life many times, but someone always stopped him. The Young family wouldn't let him go that easily. He once stole someone's life to live longer. Now, he has to live in pain and regret until the end of his days. But that's a story for later. Mrs. Young was crying as she looked at me. Ethan, can I see her one last time? I shook my head and let out a sigh. Mr. Young walked over and handed me a card. His voice was low and rough. I heard fortune tellers always charge money. There's 10 million in here. Is it enough? I gently pushed the card back, picked up the bell, and said softly, Someone already paid. Everyone burst into tears. That night, we finally had our first real dinner as a family. Mr. Young said he wanted to send me to school, but I refused. He didn't force me. He just said that from now on, I was the only son of the Young family. I didn't say anything. After the meal, I gave each of them a peace charm. No need to pay. This charm will keep you safe. Before the sun came up, I had already packed my things, ready to leave. But the maid rushed over and blocked my way. She shouted in a panic, Sir. Ma'am. The young master is leaving. Mr. and Mrs. Young, Lena, and Mia all rushed out. I didn't turn around. I just said, I asked you twice before. If you had to choose between me and Victor, who would you pick? Back then, you chose Victor. Now that everything has fallen apart, you want to choose me instead? In this world, things don't work like that. I'm leaving. I heard them crying behind me. Voices calling out, my son, Ethan, big brother. All mixed with sobs. But I didn't look back. The wind brushed against my face, carrying a light chill. I remembered what Aunt Xiao once said. The Young family is rich and powerful. Why did they come for you only now? Maybe they saw me doing fortune-telling on the street and thought I was a bad sign. So they brought me back to fix their luck. But now, none of that matters to me anymore. I walked out of the Young family's gate. A new life was waiting for me, one I would choose for myself.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.